Okay, it's going. I'm lost for words. I don't know where to begin. Probably at the beginning. So I started this morning. It's really harsh. It's like it's got modified engine mounts. As you know, the front's braced, the rear's braced. Underneath, it has got this really fancy suspension. All this has been done in Japan. I'm presuming the intercooler's been done, the turbo, the blow-off valve. I don't know what's been done to it. So started it, reversed it out the driveway. I think the clutch has gone on it. It's really high on the pedal. It still works perfectly, but that's a job that's got to be done. Someone's abused the clutch. Clutch doesn't shutter. Put it in reverse, reversed out the driveway. Groans a bit, and it's pretty harsh on the road. Gearbox is just buttery. The transmission is just gorgeous. The synchros, the throw, it's just, I'd give it 10 out of 10. I've never driven a car with a better transmission than that. Anyway, put $10 worth of fuel in it. It didn't even take that because it's absolutely chock-a-block full of fuel. It's probably, I don't know, 50 by now. It's been sitting around that long. So I got it out on the highway. I'm actually, at the moment, I'm at Pyramima, McLaren Vale, and I've been up in the hills. So I've given it a really good run. I'm into motorbikes, I'm not into cars. I have never driven anything like this in my life. And if you haven't, make an effort and drive something like this. So to begin with, the transmission, the four-wheel drive, beautiful. There's not a noise in it. It doesn't whine, there's no slop, and you can drive it like a normal car at 60, 80 kilometers an hour. On the highway, you could commute in this thing easily. Drive to Melbourne. Excuse me. It's really nice. All that groaniness and hard suspension gets nice when you get going. It doesn't annoy you at all. It's not bouncing you around. Excuse me. Those seats are just superb. The whole thing's superb. And before we get to the performance, I'd change the steering wheel. This here is, it's just, I'm sorry, I'd pay $500 or $800 and I'd get a nicer steering wheel for it, because the car's worth it. No rattles, no bangs, no nothing. It's a testament to Japanese manufacturing. But here's where it really excels. At the moment, I'm actually feeling a bit sick. It's like being on a joyride. I got no words for how it goes. So I went up Wollonga Hill in 4th gear at 100 kilometers an hour. That is a really steep hill, just cruising up there. You put your foot down and just watch the speedo. It is like superbike performance. I can't believe it. And the way it goes around a corner and the G-forces. And then when you get into it, all you hear is like a jet engine. It bangs out the back. It's got a whooshing noise between that and the blow-off valve, and it feels like it's surging. You can't experience the acceleration, and you put into the next gear at 7,000 RPM and it starts again. And then you get to the corner and put your foot on the brake, and then that makes me feel sick. And then you go around a corner and that makes me feel sick, and then it accelerates. And then you can just cruise at 80 kilometers an hour. It's effortless. This thing's got, I think, I don't know, high 200s horsepower. I don't know what this thing's got because I can't compare it to anything, but it's got to be closer to 400. It's unbelievable how fast this thing is, and it's so compliant and so smooth, and just sounds like an F16. And then you pull up and it doesn't smell, and it does everything except idle. Once I sort that idle out, we're laughing. As you know, I've got a FL5 Type R on order, and they've all sold out, and I signed my contract at 10:45 a.m. on December 1 for a black one. So as in my world, that car's being delivered next month. I paid my deposit in November. It all goes through Honda Australia, not the dealer. So I don't expect to be bent over. I expect to have that car next month. And I'm going to compare it side by side. If my Honda goes 3/4 as good as this thing, I'd be wrapped. Anyway, I've got to stop my raving. I cannot understand how you can make a 2-litre engine go that fast and then do 60 kilometers an hour in 4th gear through the streets. And the exhaust isn't noisy, but between the crackling at the back and the backfiring when you're on it, and the turbo blowing off, and the thing sounds like there's an afterburner happening, I can't believe it. Anyway, I'll say it again. If you haven't driven one of these things, or something like this, do it. And if you're getting on a bit, or want to get something like this, because they're not making them anymore. They're making electric cars, but it's just, I got no words for it. You can commute on it and then do 800 miles an hour on it. It's unbelievable. Anyway, this car is definitely a keeper. It drives really nice. I do know a bit about cars. I've worked on them all my life, and I am qualified. But yeah, it drives lovely and tight. The steering is just so precise. It's just gorgeous. If it was my car, I would definitely spend a few bucks on it, which I am going to spend a few bucks on it. So we're going to give it a full service. We're going to fix that engine. We're going to tidy it up. We're going to get it detailed. All the fluids will be changed. I'll do all the brakes. They'll all be done. It'll be given back to the owner in a pretty good state. I'm not doing the clutch on it. I'm too old for that, but it's not slipping, and I'll give the owner a lesson on how to look after clutches and be nice to transmissions, because that transmission will last a lifetime. That transmission isn't the slightest bit slow. The synchros are just gorgeous, and it's not noisy, so this car hasn't been destroyed. Anyway, when the Honda arrives, I'll have this and a black FL5, and I'll do a comparison of what 23, 24 years in technology does. Both 2-litre turbocharged cars. I expect the Honda to be more plush, more safety, and probably ride about the same when you put it, because it's got the adjustable suspension on it. Anyway, we'll wait and see what the Honda goes like. Maybe the Honda does go as good as this, but I doubt it very much. This compared to my Porsche, which weighs 960 kilograms and it's got 160 horsepower, just not even comparable. This has got 5 times the power and nicer to drive, obviously. It's pretty hot here today. I had the air conditioner on. It was working beautifully. Yeah, so I'm going to take it home now. I'm going to get it cleaned, get those headlights fixed, and then I'll get into fixing, wiper blades and tidying up the electrical and getting it to idle and servicing it and turning it into a nice car. Anyway, if you've got one of these things, do not sell it. If you haven't got one, try to find a good one, because I just can't believe it. Anyway, that's my rave on the Evo, and I'd love to see how this goes against a fairly late model Porsche GT3 or something. If they're quicker than this, well, I don't know how people even drive these things. It's unbelievable. Later.